Welcome to World Unveiled, your portal to tales woven from the threads of dreams and whispers of the night. As the stars twinkle above, and the moon casts a silvery glow, we embark on a journey through realms untold. Here, in your sanctuary of stories and serenity, let the worries of the world melt away. Find your most comfortable retreat. Let your eyes gently close and breathe in the calm of the encroaching twilight. Tonight, as you drift on the tides of imagination, we're exploring childhood realms and meet characters as vivid as the dreams they inhabit. So, dear listener, prepare to have your spirit gently lifted to a place where reality blends with fantasy in the world unveiled. A shared journey of knowledge and love. Shadows and light. The sun was just beginning to dip below the horizon, casting luring shadows over the rugged landscape as Tenzin entered Rigi. The mountains here were more barren, their rocky faces etched with the lines of time. The play of light and shadow across the terrain created an ever-changing tapestry, a visual reminder of the delicate balance between darkness and illumination. As Tenzin navigated this new terrain, his thoughts turned to the contrasted elements of his life and journey. He contemplated the dichotomy between the solitude of his monastic life and the vibrant tapestry of experiences he had encountered since leaving the Odyssey. This interplay of shadows and light was not just a physical phenomenon, and also a metaphor for the inner journey he was undertaking. The terrain became increasingly challenging, the paths narrow and steep. Tenzin training at the monastery had prepared him for physical hardship, but the mental and emotional challenges were of a different nature. He recalled the days of rigorous meditation, the struggle to quiet his restless mind, and the moments of doubt that had occasionally clouded his vision. One particular memory surfaced, a turning point in his early monastic life. It was during a period of intense meditation when Tenzin had experienced a profound inner turmoil. His mind was besieged by doubts and fears, a shadow cast over his spiritual aspirations. The struggle had been a lonely one, a battle fought within the silent walls of his own consciousness. It was then that Lama Sonnen had intervened, providing guidance that had helped Tenzin navigate through the darkness. The light of understanding often comes from wrestling with the shadows, Lama Sonnen had said. Embrace your doubts and fears, for they are the keys to deep insight. Hans' words had been a beacon for Tenzin. He had learned to confront his doubts, to understand them, and in doing so had found a greater sense of peace and clarity. This lesson was now more relevant than ever as he ventured through the physical and metaphorical shadows of his current journey. As night fell, Tenzin found a sheltered spot, a grove of gnarled trees. The stars above were obscured by passing clouds, casting the landscape in a soft, ethereal light. The setting was a reflection of his current state of mind, a blend of clarity and obscurity, certainty and anxiety. Tenzin set up a small campfire, its flickering flames casting dancing shadows around him. The warmth and light of the fire were comforting in the cool night air. He sat beside the fire, lost in thought, the flames a mesmerizing dance of light and darkness. That night, as he gazed into the fire, Tenzin meditated on the nature of light and shadow, both in the world and within himself. He realized that his journey was as much about exploring the shadows of his own being as it was about seeking the light of enlightenment. The two were inextricably linked, each giving meaning and depth to the other. In the silence of the night, with only the crackling of the fire for company, Tenzin felt a deep connection to traditions and teachings that had guided him this far. Yet, he also recognized the importance of his current experiences, of the lessons learned through direct engagement with the world. As sleep finally claimed him, Tenzin felt a sense of balance, a harmonious coexistence of the shadows and light within him. He knew that the journey ahead would continue to challenge this balance, but he also knew that each step was an opportunity for growth and deeper understanding. With the break of dawn, Tenzin resumed his journey, the first light of day casting a golden hue across the rugged landscape. The path ahead was steep and winding, each step a test of endurance and resolve. As he climbed higher, the air grew thinner and the landscape more austere. The stark beauty of the mountains in the early morning light was a reminder of the ever-present balance between harshness and beauty. As Tenzin trekked through this challenging terrain, he reflected on the lessons of light and shadow he had learned in a monastery. He remembered the teachings about the nature of reality, how light and darkness, joy and sorrow, were but different aspects of the same truth. This duality was not just a philosophical concept, but a tangible reality in the natural world around him. The memories of his early days in the monastery were vivid in his mind. He recalled his struggles to adapt to the disciplined life, the initial resistance to the strict routines, and the moments of doubt about his chosen path. These struggles had been his shadows, dark periods that had eventually led to greater self-awareness and spiritual growth. One such memory was a winter in the monastery when Tenzin had faced a profound inner conflict. He had felt a sense of confinement, a longing for the freedom and experiences beyond the monastery walls. It was a period of deep introspection where the boundaries of his faith and commitment were tested. During this time, Tenzin had sought counsel from an older monk, Lama Mirror, who had become a mentor to him. Lama Mirror had listened to Tenzin in understanding. The shadowy diary is cast as a light of embrace your questions, for they are the fuel of your spiritual journey. These words had offered Tenzin a new perspective, helping him see his doubts not as weaknesses, but as illusion. The process of questioning and seeking answers was in itself a form of illumination, a journey from shadow into light. Now, as Tenzin navigated the mountainous terrain, he understood that his current journey was a continuation of that process. Each challenge, each moment of uncertainty, was an opportunity to expand his understanding and deepen his connection to the spiritual he sought. Midway throughout the day, Tenzin came across a small, secluded valley, a hidden oasis amidst the rugged landscape. A stream flowed through it, its gentle babble, a soothing melody in the quiet of the valley. Wildflowers dotted the banks, adding splashes of color to the greenery. Tenzin took a moment to rest by the stream, soaking in the tranquility of the valley. The contrast between the harshness of the mountain path and the serenity of the valley was striking. It was a living example of the interplay of shadows and light, a physical manifestation of the balance that he was yearning to find within himself. As he sat there, Tenzin contemplated the journey ahead. He knew that there would be more shadows to navigate, more challenges to overcome. Yet he also knew that each shadow was a precursor to light, each challenge a step towards greater understanding. The journey through the mountains was not just a physical trek, but a metaphor for his spiritual path. The highs and lows, the light and dark, were all part of the tapestry of his quest for enlightenment. Embracing this duality was key to finding the harmony and balance he sought. With a sense of renewed purpose, Tenzin rose and continued his journey. The path ahead was uncertain, but he was ready to embrace both the shadows and the light, knowing that each was essential to his journey. Tenzin led him to a narrow pass between two towering peaks, while the light of the sun struggled to penetrate. The shadows here were deep and profound, a stark contrast to the bright openness of the valley he had left behind. The chill air was more pronounced, a reminder of the solitude and challenges of the higher altitudes. As he traversed this shadowed pass, Tenzin thought about the times at the monastery when he had faced his own inner shadows. One such time was during a prolonged period of meditation, where he had confronted deep-seated fears and doubts. The process had been like walking through a dark valley within himself, each step an encounter with long-suppressed thoughts and emotions. These inner explorations had not been easy. They had required Tenzin to face parts of himself he had avoided, to shine a light on the darker aspects of his consciousness. The experience, though harrowing, had been transformative, leading to a deeper sense of self-understanding and acceptance. The pass opened up to a high plateau, where the sun shone brightly, dispersing the shadows. The stark contrast between the shattered pass and the sunlit plateau as a powerful reminder of the ever-present interplay between light and darkness. Tenzin paused to bask in the sunlight, feeling its warmth seep into his bones, a welcome relief after the cold shadows. As he continued his trek across the plateau, Tenzin saw its tying to a teaching from Lama Sundam, which had deeply resonated with him. From them, the dance of life. Embrace both, for they are your teachers. This teaching echoed in Tenzin. Mind as he walked, a meditative mantra that brought a sense of peace and purpose. The plateau was vast, a wide expanse of land that stretched towards the horizon. Here, Tenzin felt a sense of freedom and expansiveness. The openness of the landscape was a stark contrast to the introspective journey he had been undertaking. It was as if the outer world was reflecting the inner space he was exploring. Towards evening, Tenzin found a sheltered spot to set up camp. The sunset painted the sky in brilliant colors, a daily masterpiece of nature's art. As the light faded, the first stars appeared, dotting the sky with their celestial glow. At night, as Tenzin sat by his campfire, he reflected on the day's journey. A physical passage from shadow to light mirrored his own spiritual journey, from confronting inner darkness to finding inner illumination. This journey was not linear, a continuous cycle, a level of experiencing and learning, of facing challenges and finding insights. The flames of the fire danced in the darkness, casting a warm, flickering light. Time saw in them a metaphor for life, a constant movement between brightness and shadow. Each moment a transient burst of night's existence. The quiet of the night enveloped him, a serene backdrop to his contemplative thoughts. Tenzin felt a deep sense of connection to the universe, a feeling that he was part of something much larger than himself. His journey with its ups and downs, its lights and shadows, was a microcosm of the universal journey of all beings. With these thoughts, Tenzin drifted into a peaceful sleep. The stars overhead a silent testament to the endless dance of life. The dawn brought with it a blanket of mist that enveloped the plateau, transforming the landscape into a realm of ethereal beauty. Tenzin set out in the soft light of early morning. The mist swirling around him, creating a sense of isolation and introspection. The path was less visible, each step a venture into the unknown. In this veiled world, Tenzin's thoughts turned inward, reflecting on the nature of perception and reality. He recalled a lesson from his monastic studies about the illusory nature of the material world, a concept that had intrigued him. The mist around him served as a metaphor for this, teaching the way our perceptions can cloud the true nature of things. I narrated a particularly insightful conversation with Lama Sonam on this topic. What we see with our eyes is not always the truth. Lama, Sonam had said, make the mist that obscures the mountains. Our perceptions can obscure the true nature of our existence. To see clearly, we must look beyond the surface. This teaching resonated with Tenzin as he navigated through the mist. It was a reminder that the journey to enlightenment was not just about seeking external knowledge, but also about clearing the internal fog of misconceptions. As the morning progressed, the sun rose higher, gradually burning off the mist. The plateau revealed itself once again. Its vast expanse a stark contrast to the enclosed world of the Unknown. The changing landscape was a vivid demonstration of the transient nature of things, how reality can shift and change. Just like the night's that comes and goes. Tenzin across the plateau was a time of deep contemplation. He pondered the dualities of existence, light and dark, ignorance and enlightenment, illusion and reality. These dualities, he realized, were not opposing forces, but interconnected aspects of the same underlying reality. The plateau eventually gave way to a descending path that led into a valley. As Tenzin descended, he felt a shift in the energy around him. The valley was lush and green, a vibrant contrast to the barren beauty of the plateau. The air was filled with the sounds of life, the chirping of birds, the rustling of leaves, and the distant murmur of a stream. This transition from the barren plateau to the verdant valley was a reflection of Tenzin's own inner journey. He had traversed the barren landscapes of doubt and confusion, and was now entering a space of greater understanding and clarity. The valley, with its abundance of life and color, symbolized the rich inner world that he was discovering, a world full of insights and just of life. As the day came to a close, Tenzin found a peaceful spot near the stream to set up camp. The gentle flow of water was a soothing presence, its continuous movement a reminder of the ever-flowing nature of life. That evening, as he sat by the stream, Tenzin felt a profound sense of gratitude for the journey he was on. The challenges and the beauty he had encountered were shaping him, helping him unravel the deeper mysteries of existence. The shadows and light of the day had been his teachers, guiding him through the complexities of his inner landscape. Tenzin understood that this journey was about embracing the full spectrum of experiences, the light and the dark, unknown and the unknown, the unknown, with the stars reflecting in the stream and the nights embracing him and its impetude. Tenzin prepared for rest, his heart enlightened. The following morning, as Tenzin continued his journey through the valley, the sun shone brightly, casting a warm glow on the lush landscape. The vibrant greens of the trees and the soft murmur of the stream created a sense of harmony and peace. Tenzin felt a deep connection to the natural beauty surrounding him, each element a reminder of the delicate balance of life. As he walked, Tenzin reflected on the concept of balance, the equilibrium between opposing forces that he had observed both in nature and within himself. He thought about the balance between action and inaction, speaking in silence, being part of a community in solitude. These were themes he had grappled with during his time at the monastery, and now they took on new significance as he journeyed alone. He remembered a particular incident at the monastery that had taught him the importance of this balance. It was during a debate session, a customary practice where monks engaged in vigorous discussions on philosophical topics. Tenzin had been fervently arguing his point, his passion for the subject overshadowing his usual restraint. After the session, Lama Silent had taken him aside. Passion is like the sun, Lama Sonam had said. It illuminates, but it can also blind. In your zeal, do not lose sight of the middle path, the path of balance and moderation. These words had made a profound impact on Tenzin. He had learned the value of temperance, of balancing fervor with reflection and action with contemplation. This lesson was now an integral part of his journey, helping him navigate the complexities of his spiritual path. As Tenzin traversed the valley, he encountered a variety of wildlife birds singing on the trees, the deer cautiously watching for the underground hours. Each creature was a part of the valley's ecosystem, playing a role in maintaining its balance. Tenzin saw in us a reflection of the internal life, a concept that was central to his understanding of the world. The valley gradually opened up to a wider plain where a small village was nestled by the riverbank. The sight of the village brought a sense of nostalgia and anticipation. Tenzin approached, curious to interact with its inhabitants and learn from their way of life. The villagers greeted him with a mixture of curiosity and warmth. They were a close-knit community, their lives intertwined with the land and each other. Tenzin was invited to share a meal with a family, an invitation he graciously accepted. Over the meal, the family shared stories of their ancestors, the challenges of farming in the valley, and the joy of community festivals. Their lives were a tapestry of hard work, communal support, and a deep connection to the land. Tenzin listened intently, each story adding to his understanding of the human experience. That evening, as Tenzin sat under the stars, he pondered the lessons of the day, the balance he had observed in nature, and the village life was a mirror to the balance he sought within himself. The journey was teaching him to embrace all aspects of life, the physical and the spiritual, the individual and the communal, the joys and the sorrows. In the quiet of the night, with the gentle sound of the river in the background, Tenzin felt a sense of inner peace. He was learning to walk the middle path, to find harmony in the duality of existence. This harmony was the light that guided him through the shadows, the beacon that illuminated his path to enlightenment. As the new day dawned, Tenzin left the village carrying with him the warmth of the villagers' vitality and the wisdom of their simple yet profound way of life. The path ahead led him out of the valley map into a region where the mountains rose majestically against the sky. The air was crisp, and the sun's rays bathed the peaks in a golden light, creating a stunning contrast against the deep blue of the sky. Climbing the winding path, Tenzin reflected on the theme of balance, the equilibrium between the material and spiritual, the external and introvert. This balance was becoming the central theme of his journey, a guiding principle that helped him navigate the varied experiences and challenges he encountered. As he ascended, Tenzin encountered a series of ancient curved flags strewn across the path, their vibrant colors fluttering in the wind. The flags were concise in these regions, each color representing an element of nature, and the mantras written on them, a prayer for peace, and good for church. For Tenzin, they were a reminder of the interdependence, the unity of the physical and spiritual realms. Reaching a high overlook, Tenzin paused to take in the breathtaking vista before him. The panoramic view of valleys, forests, and peaks was a visual symphony of nature's grandeur. It was moments like these that filled him with awe and gratitude, a profound appreciation for the beauty and mystery of the world. Sitting on the ledge of the overlook, Tenzin meditated, allowing the serenity and majesty of the landscape to infuse his being. In the stillness, he found a deep sense of peace, a harmonious blending of the light and shadows within. The meditation was a journey itself, a journey into the depths of his soul where he found a reservoir of inner strength and wisdom. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows over the mountains, Tenzin continued his trek. The path now led him towards a dense forest that lay at the foot of the next range of peaks. Forest was a world of shadows and whispers, a stark contrast to the open expanse of the overlook. Entering the forest, Tenzin felt a shift in the energy around him. The dense canopy filtered the sunlight, creating a play of light and shadow that danced on the forest floor. The sounds of the forest, the rustling of leaves, the chirping of birds, the distant roar of a waterfall were a symphony of music. The forest was a reminder of the ever-present dance between light and shadow, not just in the world, but also within the human heart. Tenzin understood that his journey was as much about exploring the shadows within as it was about seeking the light. The two were inseparable, each giving context and meaning to the other. As the night fell, Tenzin found a clearing to set up camp. The stars shone brightly through the gaps in the canopy, their light a contrast to the darkness of the forest. The night was a time of reflection, a chance to assimilate the day's experiences and lessons. Lying under the starlit sky, Tenzin felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The journey through the mountains was more than a physical trip. It was a spiritual odyssey and journey of discovering the intricate balance between ends. With a heart full of gratitude and a mind open to continuing journey, Tenzin closed his eyes, the gentle sounds of the forest lulling him into sleep. He was ready for the next chapter of his journey, embracing both the shadows and the light that lay ahead.